morning, Seattle Unity. Hello. Paul knows what's up. I'm going to ask you to stand as you are able. Hi, people online at home. I can't see you, but you can see me. No, maybe I can see you. I can see you. I'm going to invite you at home to stand as you are able to. The body movement really helps get everything in. Yeah, if you're old enough, you know this song really well already. Otherwise, we'll teach it to you. It's called Day by Day. 1, 2, 3, 4. Day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, dear Lord. 3 things I pray. To see thee more clearly. Love thee more dearly. Follow thee more nearly. Day by day. You like harmonies? Day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, 3 things I pray. See thee more clearly. Love thee more dearly. Follow thee more nearly. Day by day. Do it again. Day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Day by day. Oh, dear Lord, 3 things I pray. See thee more clearly. Love thee more dearly. Follow thee more nearly. Day by day.
And so we take a moment to turn our attention within as we know the truth of our opening statement. So let us affirm it together. There is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
Some of you may remember the show that this is from. It was a musical called Godspell, and it was a stage full of Jesus hippies or something. But if you can bring them to mind and their, patchwork, multicolored rainbow overalls, you can't you? Okay. Let that sort of energy fill you up a little bit. It's a little bit goofy, but we're going to raise the energy level a little bit. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to invite you to let your inner Jesus hippie out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Day by day, day by day, day by day. Oh, dear Lord, 3 things I pray. See thee more clearly. Love thee more dear. Back to see thee. See thee more clearly. Yeah. Love thee more dear. See thee one more time. See thee more clearly. Love thee more dear. Now follow thee more dearly. Day by day by day. Beautiful. Please be seated.
Good morning. And welcome to Seattle Unity, both in-house and at home. Thank you for being with us this morning. So let us turn today to our vision statement, and we affirm it together. We are an inclusive and accessible spiritual sanctuary for all ages and stages of life. We offer spiritual practices and a community that honors diversity and encourages self-empowerment. Together, we create a world that works for all. Let's have an amen on that. Amen. So for those of you who are watching at home, please type your name in and where you're watching from so we can call it out at the end of the service, as well as any prayer requests. And for those of us in the room, if you have a prayer request, the prayer box is just right outside the door to your left. So a couple of announcements. First, are there any new people with us for the very first time? If so, could you raise your hand and keep it up, and thank you for being with us. And our ushers have a visitor packet for you, and we invite you to come back at least 3 times. We have coffee and tea upstairs and a beautiful view. Okay, so how many of you know what Breeze is? How many of you don't know what Breeze is? So that is our online community guide. So you can look up, other people, and you can go and see what's happening. Anyway, we're having a Breeze support following the service or following the dedication downstairs. It's going to be led by Monique, yes, and Jerry too. Yes. So if you have any questions about what is Breeze and how does this work and how can I utilize it, they're there to help you. Also, for those who are watching at home, today is our online discussion. So we invite you to stay afterwards online so that you can join with your fellow online people. All right. So our chat prompt for those at home. What are you in the middle of creating right now? And you might think about that for yourself. And I want to call out, it's Dahlia's birthday today. Happy birthday, Dahlia. And I'm sure there's other Leos in the house, but let us all stand and greet one another.
All the happy birthdays. Stay standing. Yay! Stay standing as you are able. This is Karen Drucker. When I think about legacy and the New Thought movement, Karen Drucker's songs come right to me, and she's also an awesome human, which is a great thing to know about, that your heroes, they're solid chocolate bunnies. They're not hollow in the middle. They're solid chocolate bunnies, and that's what she is. So this is God is My Source. If you know it already, get your body moving. Otherwise, we'll teach it to you. My friend Sienna is going to sing her version first time through. That's your chance to get dancing.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Go. God is my source. God is my power. Yes. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything that I need. Do it again, a little louder. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything that I need. So Please be seated. Some of you may notice you don't know any of the band members today, probably, unless you've been here a long time. On drums today, we have Chris. Our regular band is all on vacation in different spots. They didn't go together. I was hoping they would like, you're going on retreat. No, they're all going to different places. Chris Monroe is on drums. Hello, Chris. Gary Palmer on keys. Hey, Gary. This is Kelsey Mines on bass. Hey. And you'll hear a little bit more from our special guest, Stephanie Ann Johnson, but you know Stephanie Ann, do you not? We're going to turn the page soon into a more contemplative. We're all contemporary. Contemplative part of our service, and that will include a 3 to 4 minute silent meditation. So I invite you to become comfortable in your chairs now so that we can share that time together easily. And while we're getting ready, I want to tell you about the Congregant Art Show. I'm accepting pictures of your art, any kind of art. Email them to me. You can go to our website and you see the little event thing on it, or just email it to me, and a picture of your face as well, so I know who is this person who showed me a picture of their mug, right, or their textile craft, or their printing. We also have sculptors, and so anything that you think can be photographed and sent to me as your creative work, you can do that. And then on the 31st, we'll have a video of that work. We've done this before, and it's wonderful. And the quality level doesn't have to be, I'm a 20-year master in this field. It can be, I just learned how to knit. And this is my first thing. Our theme this month is art and creativity, and that's a big part of that, is learning to share early and to not wait until you're perfect, right? Because this is church, and we kicked out all our perfect people because they were annoying. Now we're going to move into the more contemplative part of the service, and the first step in that section, not from you, from I'm confused. We, instead of a reader today, we have an actual video of Claudia and her piece of art. And Diane will speak more in her talk about the importance of this piece of art. But let's hear from Claudia first. Ben, are you ready?
Hi, my name is Claudia Ashley Brown, and I'm a designer from the UK. My sister is Julia Hill, a long-term member here at Seattle Unity. I was asked if I'd be interested in designing a new wall sculpture for the church, and I jumped at the chance. And I began to think about a new building, a new spirit indwelling within that building, and came up with Willow Angel. And the only way I could describe the inspiration behind it was actually to write a poem. So here goes. The spirit comes upon the wing, like a white eagle or an angel, to a new dwelling place. Alighting, the feathers draw together with a quiver. The wings fold with a rustle and a hush. Settling, resting, but still with some air and movement amongst the plumes, like the fronds of a willow in the breeze. Quietening, listening, waiting patiently for the divine presence and the word of God to fall. I hope this tree brings blessings to Seattle Unity. Bye for now.
The chant that we're using today to lead us into our silent meditation is a brand new one. It was just written. This is the first time it's being sung. I call that a baby song, being born. And in alignment with our art and creativity theme, this song is from Mary Kemp. And I don't think you've written other things, but this is maybe the first one that we've done here. We'll teach it to you. join in if and when you would like. May I find peace in a troubled world. May I find peace in the work I do. May I find peace with the ones I love. May I find peace within. May I find peace in a troubled world. May I find peace in the work I do. May I find peace with the ones I love. May I find peace within. May I find peace in a troubled world. May I find peace in the work I do. May I find peace with the ones I love. May I find peace within. Do you like harmonies? Go ahead and sing them out. May I find peace in a troubled world. May I find peace in the work I do. May I find peace with the ones I love. May I find peace within. Let's sing it out a little bit more. May I find peace. May I find peace in a troubled world. May I find peace in the work I do. May I find peace with the ones I love. May I find peace within.
This is a song I wrote almost 10 years ago now, in 2016. I was working down in Ashland, Oregon, with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. And we were engaged in doing their very first all-black show on the outdoor Elizabethan stage. And if you know anything about Oregon, where we were about 50 miles from that white nationalist outpost they got down there. One of our cast members was verbally accosted on the street. And another gal from admin as well. So it was Juneteenth that year. And I was sitting on the bricks underneath what had been the hanging tree in this sundown town. And I wrote this song. It's called American Blues. Because I think it's entirely possible to love something the way that I love America, while still knowing that it needs care, refurbishment, and change. I've been sad, I've been blue, I've been dying all over you. You've been washed in my blood. Oh, these years.
That's all I can say. Woo! Thank you for letting the Spirit sing through you. And we are exploring our annual theme, Voices of the Divine, this year. And in the month of August, we're exploring voices of art and creativity. And beautiful expressions, right? Through our poems, through our spoken word, through our songs. We'll get to see at the end of the month fabric arts and clay and canvas. And so we have been exploring art and creativity through these different mediums. And I want to this morning look at, kind of step back a little bit and look at the creative process and take kind of a larger definition of what it means in terms of art and creativity. And Reverend Karen touched on this a little bit last week, talking about the creative process. And so the definition of creation is the action or process of bringing something into existence. Something. There's a lot of somethings that can be brought into existence, right? Charles Fillmore said that creation is the original plan of an idea of spirit. And I want you to kind of hone in on that word idea, because we're going to come back to that. So from a spiritual perspective, the creative process is happening all the time. And we're part of it. We're an integral part of it. And I started kind of looking at, I know this is going to sound corny, but the Christian doctrine of creation. And I was just curious how Unity's kind of perception of the creative process is sort of similar and different from this. And this word idea is paramount, because in Unity, we believe that there are divine ideas, there are infinite number of ideas, and as humans, we are called to grab hold of those ideas and bring it down into form, to bring it down into manifestation. So we all have a part to play in it, right? If we're walking on this earth, we're part of that creative story. And I would say that our creative acts are happening every moment, moment to moment. If we really broaden the definition, it's the way we show up in our lives, right? It's the words we use. That's a creative act. It's the experience that people have of us when we're in the room with other people, right? It's the thoughts we entertain. Those are all creative acts and a very broad way of looking at it. Charles Fillmore also said, the order of creation is from the formless to the formed. First is mind, then idea in mind, then the materialization of the idea. Consciousness always precedes matter. So when I was looking at this Christian doctrine that we find in more traditional Christianity, and it really is the foundation of so many of the other doctrines, doctrine of sin and so many other doctrines. And one of the big differences I also saw is within sort of the traditional viewpoint, it's this sense of kind of a greater separation between God and humans. Whereas, what is our very first principle in Unity? There's one power, there's one presence. And the second principle, we are all part of it, right? So it's this idea of oneness. So God is, yet we are the voices and the presence and the activity of Spirit here on earth. So we are each called to reflect on how are we participating in that creative process. Another kind of difference I see between a more traditional Christian perspective and Unity's view is because of that idea of oneness, we believe that we each have those characteristics and aspects. The nature of God is available to us. So divine love, divine life, divine wisdom are all part of who we are. Now, mind you, it doesn't mean that all people are necessarily using them and expressing them in their highest expression, right? I think this is one of our more challenging teachings, right? To see the divine in everyone, and then we walk out in the world and we say, wait a minute, my divine, my God, my spirit doesn't look like this, right? But that is a matter of how much we're conscious of these divine gifts within us and how much we're willing to express them out into the world and with one another in all that we do. So this doctrine of creation in Christianity, it really centers around a moment of creation, right? A moment of creation, and it's talked about, and we hear about it in the book of Genesis in the Bible. And in unity, we really see that creation is happening all the time. It's in process. It's still happening, moment to moment. And then that's why it's important for us to look at, how am I creating in my life? What are the words I'm choosing to express? How am I showing up with other people? What are the thoughts and feelings I'm giving the most attention to, right? Where am I channeling my energy? And so in this way, we each become a living piece of art. And it's not a new concept. It's been around for quite a while. And I was reading one essay by a psychologist, and he was ranting against this idea. And I always I love debate. I love to hear opposing viewpoints. So I like dive into it. I'm like, oh, this is good. This is great. Let me read it. And I pick it apart. And so, you know, what I read between the lines was he was kind of defining art and creativity in that kind of one definition, which is works of art, right? It's the poems we write and we speak. It's the songs we sing. It's the brushstroke on a canvas, right? It's works of art. And again, if you step back and take a kind of bigger perspective, from a spiritual perspective, everything is creation and creating all the time, right? I think the other thing that I read between the lines is a bias that we have in our society about production. Things being produced, right? We tend to gravitate around doing and producing, right? If I was to be sitting with someone and say, maybe not in this crowd, but sitting with someone and said, oh my gosh, I just spent 3 hours communing with the trees. I just sat and communed with the trees. A lot of people, they may not say it, but out in the world, there'd be judgments. Oh my God, what a waste of time. She's not being productive, right? So we have this bias. Now, we have to take action. We have to be out in the world. We have to be doing things, right? That's how we make things happen. But we have a little bit of a bias towards doing and what we produce and the amount of time and how we're spending our time, and are we achieving our goals, and is it a productive use of our time, right? How many times do we use those phrases? So I'm just suggesting that we have a little bit of a bias maybe towards production and productivity. And so we tend to gravitate towards the definition of art, which is about producing things. And there's a place for that, right? It provides incredible gifts and beauty. But I think to look at our lives as a piece of art as well, as a creative project that we're in the midst of, is so important and so valuable. So I've been the celebrant at a number of different life celebrations and memorials and funerals. And you know, when people are sharing at those different events, what are people talking about? Their experience of the person, right? They might also be talking about what they did in the world, but often it's how did they feel in their presence, right? What was the gift of their presence through this earthly walk? How did it impact people? How did it land on people? How did it inspire people? Right? So my mom, she's not been on this earth in a body for a number of years. And when I think of her, when I remember her ability to just like bring joy and laughter into a room, she had this gift of lifting everybody up that was in the space. And you could feel it was palpable. And even now, as I'm remembering her in moments with her, I still feel it. So in that sense, her essence is still present, right? It's still walking with me. It's still expressing through me. It's still connected to me. And that's true if you think of people in your lives, even if they're not physically sitting right next to you right now, right? If you just bring them to mind, you experience a certain energy. And so our creative acts include how we are directing our energy, the words we choose, the gifts we choose to express, the experiences we choose to share. Last week, I was part of several board meetings, and following those board meetings, I had this idea popped up, to email one of the board members and just how much I appreciated them. I just wanted them to know that and tell them how much I valued them. And I could have just let the idea go, right? I could have just done that, like prayed and sent the intention of love and care across the spirit wavelengths, right? But I chose to email them. And I chose to just share in words that appreciation and how much I value them. A small thing, it took me a few minutes, right? And it's not up to me how that was received, right? Like any work of art, you put it out there, you let it go. So those are creative acts. Those are creative acts as well, the ways that we choose to show up. So think about a relationship that you have right now in this moment. Just one relationship, and maybe you'll see that person this week, maybe you're with them. And if you wanted to share one intentional, conscious, creative act, if you wanted to put your energy into that relationship in a very intentional way, what would it look like for you? Maybe it would be a prayer. Maybe it would be holding intention of strength or guidance or healing or care or love for them. Maybe it would be sharing words. Maybe it would be an email or a phone call or in person. Just take a moment. What is that for you right now? Maybe it is doing something for them. Maybe their love language is action, and taking care of something for them is meaningful. So we're giving these choices moment to moment throughout our lives. And part of our spiritual joy is to get to make it more intentional, to get to make it more conscious, moment to moment. So we are kicking off our legacy giving campaign. And many of you might ask, well, what does that have to do with me? The truth is we all are a living legacy. Right, and when the board started talking about starting a legacy giving campaign, it's more than a year ago, kind of lost track, but I knew that Julia Hill's sister, Claudia, actually creates these legacy trees for different nonprofits as a way to bring art and legacy together, right, so through her sculpture. And so the reading you heard was her poem, and if you walked through the front doors this morning, you saw her legacy tree. Of course, some people might have walked through the front doors, I won't ask you, I won't call you out, and didn't see it. But you'll see it later now, because you'll be looking for it. But the idea of a legacy campaign is that all of us have some legacy to give, right? In the way that we direct our energies. And the amounts aren't as important as just the fact that we are directing our energies in a way that reflects our values. So we are here because the generations that have been part of Seattle Unity in decades prior to us kind of shared their legacy, and we are standing upon their legacy. What we do now as a community in our legacy, in our giving, will provide a foundation for future community members of Seattle Unity. And so again, we are supported through the annual and monthly giving that people donate. And that is our sustainers, and we are so grateful for their generosity. That's our stewards. And we have an acknowledgement for them up on the third floor. We are also sustained by our endowment fund, and that's the truth of it. We are here in the space, and we are together in community through the gift of that endowment fund and what others have left before. And so we are kicking off this legacy giving campaign as an opportunity to direct your energies, your financial energies through estates and wills into the life-sustaining foundation of this ministry and this community. And so I'm going to invite Melissa Mager up here to give a testimonial. And there's a few different testimonials on our website, but Melissa's going to share one now.
I didn't realize how much my remarks were going to echo what you've been saying in your message here, but I'll start in. I've been asked to share my personal journey into the growing group of those who have elected to include Seattle Unity to receive a legacy gift upon their death. As a member of the Seattle Unity finance team for 10 years, it was clear to me that Seattle Unity, as we know it, simply would not exist had it not been for far-sighted and generous members who chose to include Unity to receive a legacy gift in their will. Personally, I don't think I have ever needed or valued Seattle Unity, its teachings, ministers, music, and my Unity friends more than I do in these present times. And while I have faith that we will transition through these times to a more sane and humane world, personally, I want to do my part to ensure that our church and all it means to us is here for future generations to lean into for spiritual support, peace, sanity, and guidance. Frankly, the biggest hurdle for most folks to overcome once they've determined to leave a piece of their estate as a legacy gift is making a will. I'll admit that even as an attorney who was well aware of the importance of completing a will, it took me quite a while to settle myself into getting into the job and getting it done. What I now know is that there are all types of tools and easy guidance tips readily available to help you do it all on your own. And when it is done, you only have to have it witnessed by 2 people. When I reviewed my will in advance of writing these remarks, I was pleasantly surprised to see that the 2 folks who witnessed my will back in 2015 are Reverend Diane and Annie Christensen. My advice is to let planning for and making your will and your legacy gift to Seattle Unity be a joyous moment of giving, and relish the peace of knowing that you are securing this very special place and this experience for generations to come, just as the far-sighted and generous Seattle Unity members of the past generations have done for us. Blessings.
Thank you, Melissa. So, which mic, right? Thank you, Melissa, all the mics. So we do have some booklets out there and FAQs, and there is information about resources for wills. And so you are invited to pick one of those up. And George Edwards is going to tell you a little bit more about the Legacy campaign and some of the people we have to thank who've already contributed.
Good morning. It's good to see you all again. You've seen me up here several times. I'm a former board president. I was treasurer of the board for 3 wonderful years. And today, it's my job to kind of give the details of legacy giving. And I just want to tell you that I had this long a speech about estate planning and wills and codicils, and I can already see your eyes dimming, so I'm going to make this very brief. First of all, just always know that this congregation, the board, all of us are very appreciative of all the gifts you give to this congregation, be it your time, your talent, your money. We appreciate it all. Despite the size of any of those gifts, it's all appreciated. And estate planning is hard work. That's why 50% of Americans die without wills. But what we're talking about is legacy giving. We're talking about giving from your assets, not your income. So we hope you will consider making that gift. We have prepared, as Diane said, a booklet on the Tree of Life Society and our legacy giving campaign, growing together, growing our community together, and they're located literally right outside the door. And since estate planning is difficult, There's also a little passage in here about how you can do it an easy way through a website called Free Will, great concept, that can develop a will in about 20 minutes. Also, we also want to thank a group who's been meeting for the last several months to launch this campaign, the Legacy Giving Committee that has Greg Rupert on it, who's our current board chair, Holly Camry, who's on the board, Melissa, who just gave that wonderful testimonial, Lynette Klein, who is actually a professional in the philanthropy field, Scott Caldwell, and Reverend Diane. And we've been working to try to give you an easy way to make a determination to make a legacy gift, and also to join what we're calling the Tree of Life Society. And that's individuals who can make a pledge, of $10,000 or more as a legacy gift, as a bequest to Seattle Unity in our endowment. And that's a very important part of building our sustainable financial future. And you can find out about that in this little pamphlet, and it talks about all different kinds of legacy gifts you can give: insurance policies, IRAs, racehorses. The list is long. But what we really want to say is that we are really going to pursue this campaign. And this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. It's not like the stewardship campaign. You're going to be hearing about legacy giving for years to come. And we appreciate your consideration. And each year, there's going to be a new class of individuals who've made those $10,000 or more. $10,000 is the minimum. You can give more. And there's going to be a class of donors. And in 2025, we're going to have a class of donors whose names will be inscribed on the Tree of Life downstairs. And we'll present that new class of donors and unveil their names, we hope, around Thanksgiving. I want to leave you with two important individuals in the history of this congregation. And both their names were McDonald. Robert Mack McDonald. He died in 2008 at the tender age of 92, a very humble man. He went off and fought the Second World War in Alaska with the Corps of Engineers. He came home. He became a federal employee. He was a bookkeeper and an administrator. He loved to plant trees. And much to everyone's surprise, he left $400,000 to Seattle Unity because he claimed this is where he got his spiritual strength. And the board took that $400,000 and bulked up our reserve account many years ago. So when the Seattle Unity visiting team started looking from seed money to build this building in its original planning stages, they turned to the reserve fund, and they borrowed $350,000 from that fund to start the preliminary work for this building. That fund today is $561,000, not including the $350,000 that was taken for the seed money. And that's the incredible power of these kind of legacy gifts. Let me tell you about one other McDonald. And these two guys didn't know each other, but his name is Jack McDonald. And he died at the tender age of 96. So if you give a legacy gift, expect to live a long life. Not anyway. So, and he also was a very humble and interesting man. He was a graduate of the University of Washington Law School, spent 40 years as a lawyer for the Veterans Administration. Very thrifty guy. He loved two things. He loved to save money and he loved to invest money. And he would often walk around with these newspaper food coupons just kind of stuffed out of his tattered pocket. And people were surprised. Actually, there were more surprised. They were awestruck. When he died, this humble, rather eccentric fellow, he left a bequest of $187 million. And much of that money went to two institutions. They went to the University of Washington Law School, and they went to Children's Hospital. He did leave $2 million to Seattle Unity. And again, that money, that $2 million, becomes the bulk of our endowment. And it's that endowment, because we only, it's kept in perpetuity. We keep that money and we only spend the interest. That account today is about $3.2 million. And over the last year, we've taken $800,000 out of that account. And that's what helps to fund the day-to-day operation of our congregation. So my message obviously is, we are appreciative of all gifts that you give. If you're capable, please consider making a will, whether you leave anything to Seattle Unity or not. If you don't, you die intestate, and we won't talk about intestate. All right? And we are appreciative of what you give in whatever way you give it. And also, if you get a mail letter from the Legacy Giving Committee asking you to come in and meet with us, nobody's going to strong-arm you into giving a gift, but we would like to sit down and talk to some of you about the potential you have to make a legacy gift. And finally, my last thought is, I'm in. My wife, Kathy, and I have both made individual and separate pledges to the Legacy campaign. Remember, they have to be individual because estates are individual, wills are individuals. So please consider making a legacy gift to Seattle Unity, and thank you all for your great generosity.
Thank you, George. So again, there's booklets out there if you'd like more information, and there'll be more information coming out in the future as well. And so in closing, I want you just to center in your heart in this moment. And just ask the internal question of how your life can be a legacy in the ways that you show up with others, in the words that you share, in your very presence. Because your presence is a gift. And so my invitation to you is to go forth and to create with joy and conscious light, centered in spirit. And so it is. And so we come now to give of our tithes and our love offering. And so if this ministry touches your life in some way through the music and the message, through a space to connect with others in spiritual community, I invite you to give from that place. You can text to give 206-350-8448 or through our website. And of course, we always accept the paper stuff as well. So let us bless our offering. I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude.
If you want to know where I'm going, soon. Anybody ask you where I'm going? grace.
All right, so let's put a final blessing on our offering, and then we'll call out our online community. So we dedicate and we consecrate these gifts to the will, the work, and the way of the living Spirit of truth. We are so grateful for the generosity of each giver. May it return to you a millionfold, and it is so. So we have quite a online community today, so I want to call out those who are watching from home, and that's Inez, who's in Mount Lake Terrace, and Carmen. Tom and Judy. Julia is in Kirkland. Annette is driving. Okay. Belinda's in Greenwood. Margaret's in Corvallis. Reggie, Diana in Kenmore. Megan, Layla and Julian are all in West Seattle. Casey and Faith. Gary and Lynn are in Olympia. Louise is in West Lynn. Deborah's in Milton. MJ, Marcia in West Seattle. Suzanne, John, Christopher in Pike Place. Jana, Rose in Bellevue. Gail, Heather, Deanna's in Miami. And we just want to remind those that are watching from home that there is an online discussion today. So we invite you to stay online for that. So now let's turn to our prayers. So I invite you to move to your heart as we hold and we bless in our prayers Kimberly for healing, for Charlie, for Inez and Robbie, for Abby. We hold and we bless AJ and Sabrina, Julia, and we bless Lori, who made her transition. We know that life never ends. And for Steve, who is in the process of making his transition. For wholeness, we hold Maggie, Hale, Hal, Kyle, and Susan. And for safe travels, Ryan, Nicole, Cynthia, Dave, and Kelly. We hold Rich for healing, for comfort, for Shirley, blessing Kenneth, June Ann, Jason, Melissa, Arrow, Dawn, and Donna. And if there's anyone else who comes to your mind, please speak the names now. And so as we hold these loved ones in our hearts, we affirm our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
That's the truth.
And just a reminder, we are all going to walk downstairs to the beautiful legacy tree and have a dedication. So please come down before you go up to get coffee.
We're going to sing a closing song together. I invite you to stand and hold hands if that's comfortable for you. It's unity, but this time, because we're doing a recessional closing, I'm going to ask you to actually open up the center aisle. So Frank and Denise, I know you really wanted to hold hands, but so it's a different way. It's called a recessional finish. And when we get to the end of the song, what we'll do is begin to move forward. So our clergy will lead us, and then we'll go downstairs and have a dedication moment with that piece of art, which is beautiful. You'll get to see it if you haven't seen it before. But I invite you, as soon as they start going, we can follow them out. We'll sing Shanti to finish together. We'll sing it twice, and then we'll begin moving.